All righty. All right. Another kind of weak opening. I mean, it's not horrible. It did get a little bad earlier last night. I think the swing low here. This is the hourly chart. Hovering right around this high volume node here, which is very interesting. Let me get my... a big high volume node in here. So, and we're kind of hovering right around that. Likely, like I said, I expect, we did have that swing low there. I do expect a little more downward pressure. I think I'm not going to say the bears, though. I don't really consider this a bear market or even a bear trend. I mean, we've had such an enormous run up, but I do think I should say the sellers appear to be in charge this week, and that's okay. Because it does appear to be orderly. In my opinion, I mean, we're not like really getting any kind of, it's not a rip your face off sell off so far. And I think if this continues, I think this is relatively healthy. There's not a lot moving this morning. I'm just looking at the headlines. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a bounce here on the headlines. Crude's kind of creeping up a little bit. We had earnings last night on AMD. I don't know where that sits. Last night when I went to bed, it was around 240. It closed. It's around 236. Got down as far as 234. And if that's the case, that one's going to be right in the wheelhouse. Because what I had done there is I did do, here it is here. I did not do the strangle. I did the that wide iron condor that I had spoken about. I was originally going to do the strangle. I just really wasn't feeling it, quite honestly. I think if the market would have been a little stronger yesterday, I would have likely done the strangle. But the market, was so weak yesterday, I just felt like I just didn't want to take on that $2,700 a margin. Let's face it. That's what it really comes down to. Had no interest in doing that, so I decided to kind of cut that back and do the iron condor. And this is the trade that I did. Put it up on the analysis. And I ended up doing that for $2.01. So $2. Likely, if AMD stays where it is here, we're going to get a volatility collapse. You couldn't get it at a better spot here. And if it does hold right around this level, likely this thing, I'll be able to buy it back for hopefully around $1 and make a quick $100. So not too bad so far. Anyway, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. because and the reason I don't want to do that because anything can happen between now and 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Where it's like 10 to 7 right now, so I'm really early here this morning, and that was it. That was really all I did. And then yesterday's futures trade that I had done during that session, I squeaked out a little gain. I ended up flattening, and I think I ended up making $20. I did not hang on to it. I tried to, but I just didn't like the price action. Looking today, let's go back to the ES because I think there's going to be a trade here today. And folks, that's what I trade anymore. I trade the ES. I don't do the NASDAQ. A lot of people I know, a lot of these young bucks and buckettes do the NASDAQ. I don't like the NASDAQ. And the reason I don't like the NASDAQ is it really comes down to volume. I mean, the NASDAQ to me is just way too thin. The ES always has volume. It seems to be, it's slow. Yeah, it can be slow, and there's no question. And I'll be the first person to admit that it can be really slow. But I can't do the NASDAQ. To me, it's too much. It's too fast for me, and there's too much slippage. I mean, anybody who's trading NASDAQ, I've gotten slipped 10 ticks at times, and it's pissed me off. And I can't trade like that, so I don't do it. Now, if you want to do it, fine, go ahead. Knock your brains out, but I do not do it. I do not do it because it's very, very bad. I think there's going to be a trade in here today. And what I'm looking at, and I don't really think there's much on the docket as far as like news and all that other business. Other than you're probably going to get a bunch of stuff. I don't know if they're still reeling in it. They won the governor here in my state. The Democrats won. Guy got fucking Chittarelli just got fucking annihilated. I never liked the fucking dude. I didn't like him as a candidate. I voted for him, but I never liked him anyway, and obviously neither did anybody else. And that's why he got fucking killed. He got fucking killed. He didn't even have a chance. It was over by like fucking 8:30 last night. And the other one in Virginia, she got beat too. Which, it is what it is. No matter what happened, though, I still had to get up today and go to work. So no cause for any alarm. I am fine. I am not going to cry in my Cheerios. That's for sure. So anyway, what I'm looking at here is I kind of like this spot. Now, what I don't have on my charts, and see, this is where I kind of get pissed off at Thinkorswim. And do they have? I don't think I think their pivots. Their pivots suck. I think, yeah, their pivots suck. I have a pivot, but it's a mess. And anyway, let me see if I can go to my other chart. Sorry about this, but hey, you know what? You got to deal with me because I'm driving. And it's I think it's in my active trader. No, I don't have it in here. Yeah, I do. Here it is. Let's expand this out. And I don't do futures on Thinkorswim because they suck. And they're expensive. They're really expensive. I don't even know how anybody trades them on this platform. I don't even know why they offer it. It sucks. They suck so bad. All right, let's get rid of the Evel 2. Let's get rid of that. All right, so this is, these are my kind of, this is a MACD, but, in full disclosure, this is a MACD that I've actually come up with. And I rewrote a lot of indicators in Thinkorswim at one point. And I spent a lot of time doing it. And so what you see here, this is my own, and this, I actually created my own pivots, and what you have here, and if I was to go to an hour, and I don't sell these. I mean, if you want them, I can give them to you if you're really that. They're not that good. I mean, I'm not going to say they're not that good. They're just, I'm not interested in making money off them. So basically what this is that this will give you the pivot points for the day, and you can see they change throughout the day. And then there's basically a cloud. Green on the bottom represents, basically buying. So you're buying the support and you're selling the resistance, just like what ICT does. I don't know how anybody listens to that jackass. False prophet, that dude. But he's got some following. So anyway, here, from a pivot point of view, I like this 67.65 area. Now, we haven't tagged it yet, but I do like that spot if we get down there today for a possible buy. Now, for a short, if we do creep back up over 67.88 here, and this swing high is what, 67, let's see, 67.88. I would take a short there today, because there does seem to be a lot of downward momentum, and if we do get up there and tag that again, very likely we may actually see some more downside. All right. And so that's kind of my analysis of, things going on today. If I were going to be doing anything right now, I would more than likely, let me just get rid of this. And I know I'm kind of all over the place a little bit here today, but just, bear with me. It is what it is. If I were to do anything right now, I would actually get long right now. But I would get long right now with the intention of getting out up at that, wherever it is. I'll be all right. Up at this level up here, up at this 60. So another 8 or so ticks, and then look to reverse if you really want to get out. I mean, look, the short-term trend here is down, so I would say play that to your advantage and see if we do get, if you want to do something right now, I would play that part of it. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we just go and let's sell a little bit here. Let's see if we even get in. Okay, we're in. All right, and then I'm going to put a stop up here pretty tight up at this 67.88 where I had said that I would get short. Right here. There's my stop. So I'm not risking much. And if we get some more downward momentum here, so be it. I likely think we're going to tag this up here. That's just how I feel. But, looking at it, hey, why not? Why not just go short? Why not? Give it a shot. All right, so we're in there, and that's all I have to say about that. So let's get off of this screen. So short MES here. And then as far as earnings, there was a couple this morning. There was like McDonald's. We talked about AMD. I don't know how McDonald's did. It looks like it's just gotten... What the hell is that? Oh my God! What was? Oh, that was the micro CAD, whatever. Looks like it really did absolutely nothing for earnings, and I don't know what they were like. If they were good, bad, or the ugly, I have no idea. Let me just take a look real quick. Wrong chart. Wrong chart. I got to get this situated here. I'm really unhappy with my McDonald's. Really unhappy with my Thinkorswim. I'm really trying to use these charts. I mean, I like the layouts of them in general, but they're, over as far as like the layouts, but as far as the charts themselves, they just seem really, really trashy. And I know why a lot of people use TradingView, because they are a little nicer and they're cleaner. But I don't really look at what their earnings were. I mean, their sales increased 3.6%. So as much as everyone's saying, "Oh, McDonald's this, McDonald's that," their sales increased. So that's kind of like that. In a way, is a bit of a... It used to be a recession indicator, right? When McDonald's does really well, normally means that the economy is not doing well because people are kind of going down the food chain. But given the prices of shit, and I don't know if you've been at McDonald's, it ain't cheap. It's cheaper to go to Chili's. It's cheaper to go to Chili's, sit down, and get a 2 for whatever it is, the $20 thing for you and your, me and my wife, we spend under $40 when we're there. And to me, that's a better value than going to frickin' McDonald's and going through the drive-thru. Because we went through the McDonald's. Actually, it wasn't even McDonald's. I think it was. I forgot where it was. It was one of them. And the bill. We spent almost $50. I was like, what the fuck? We didn't even get anything. We hardly got anything. So I was like, and we haven't been back since, and that's been over a year. I don't know. I think I might buy some McDonald's here. I kind of like what I see. Now, there's no volatility in here. I'd probably go out to... I'll probably go out about 6 months. So I would go to June. And I'm going to do just a little simple... I'm just going to do a little simple call spread. 290, 295, it's in the money. We're out 225 days. It likely is going to be a little cheaper. And I'm going to go there. So McDonald's, there's one for you, a little after earnings trade. The 290, 295 call spread in June. Yeah, I kind of like that. After earnings trade. All right, so there you have it. So I'm going to do that one. All right. And as far as other earnings are concerned, there's really nothing else. I think we've pretty much run the gambit of the bigger ones. I don't really think there's much left of any that are worthwhile. And I think you do have NVIDIA coming up in the next week or so. Datadog might not be a bad one. Take a look at that real quick. That stock's been on a bit of a tear. Decent IV rank. I don't know what the options look like. That's on the 6th. So that is tomorrow after the bell. Liquidity looks very good, actually. Let's see, Datadog. Datadog. Yeah, I mean, Datadog's definitely in there, and margin's not terrible. But more importantly, there's a ton of liquidity here, which is nice. More than I had thought. More than I expected. So Datadog is definitely in play. As far as volatility goes, it's running probably about average. But yeah, I mean, that one is definitely in play, and I think you can do it. You can do it either way. It's kind of in a spot. It's kind of in a spot here where it is pretty much in between. Price-wise. So, take your pick. And if I was going to do anything, I would probably do a strangle. Because given all the other earnings, look, Datadog's whole business model is based on other companies' business models, right? They do monitoring and whatnot. Given that all these other tech companies have actually reported decent earnings and the stocks really haven't moved, I kind of expect Datadog to kind of do the same thing. And so I'd be probably more apt to do a very neutral strangle in here, or iron condor, whichever floats your boat. I'm kind of partial to these 10 wides lately, just because you get better juice in them. And I'd probably, if I was going to do that one, I'd probably do this one here. I'd probably do like the 140, 130. I'd probably do something like this. $16 move. I'd probably do something like that. All right, putting you kind of right in the middle and getting a decent premium for it. And this is indicating that it's a little delta positive. And so there's one for tomorrow. But that's tomorrow after the bell, so we can even go over that one tomorrow. And that's really it from what I see here. I don't really see anything else. I mean, here's some ones after the bell. AppLovin Corp. Whatever. CF Industries. Atmos. Fair Isaac. TKO. Corpay. McKinnison, TPL, Texas. I don't know. I don't know what the hell any of these are. Oh, Robinhood. Robinhood is tonight after the close. That normally is. That's usually not a bad one. Let's take a look at that one. A lot of liquidity in this. Yeah, this one's in play. You can definitely do Robinhood. A lot of strikes. I mean, there's the one standard deviation strangle right there. Where'd it go? There it is. There's the one standard deviation strangle. Paying you $4. It's a little skewed delta negative. But that's definitely not a bad one at all. So I would definitely that one's definitely in play. And then if you did the 10 wide, I think you're going to get paid almost $2. That's not bad at all. 70% pop, that's a good trade. Delta, almost delta neutral. There you go. Robinhood. That's a good one. And that one would be for tonight. So there's another one for you, Robinhood. DoorDash, I don't know. I've never really done. Qualcomm's always. This is another one where I've never really been able to play that one right. Qualcomm, decent liquidity, a lot of strikes. I don't know. IV rank though. IV rank on these is actually even Hood. I didn't look at that. Even Hood is actually not that great. DoorDash. I've never really traded this one. It looks light, and that's kind of what I expected. DoorDash never really has been. And when I say by light, look, there's some strikes here, right? There's some strikes that have a lot of open interest. But you can see there's also others that are just really, really light. And that's been my problem with DoorDash, is that there just doesn't ever seem to be, a lot of people obviously playing the upside here. But I would stick to the strikes where they got open interest. I've never really found it to be a very liquid stock, to be honest. Even though there are, now looking at it, there are some decent strikes here with a decent amount of open interest. I've never really found it to be very liquid. Hard to get out of trades. And that's where I'm coming from. Because, look, it's easy to get in anything. I want to be able to get out. And then that's really it. That is really it. I think the story of yesterday... I think I got stopped. Yep, got stopped out. Kind of expected that. But with that being said, let's go back in there. Now that I got stopped out, I think this is the spot where I wanted to get short. And so that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to get short again. Okay, so I'm going to get short. Again, I'm going to put my stop. And you see, I lost $22, $23. Big deal. I'm going to put my stop right up here at about 68 honey. Right under 6800 honey, 67.99. All right. Yeah, so they're not all winners. They're not all winners. So yeah, we're going to go we're short again. And I'm going to see if we can ride this one down the other way. Not really convinced of this full-fledged bounce here, but who knows? Who knows? All right, so there you go. So I never really found DoorDash to be very liquid. And that's all I got today. See some stuff hitting the tape, but nothing, a couple of shitbag stocks. But I see some stuff like Pinterest getting hammered. Upstart down 13%. Carvana. Some real big losers there. And that's it. That's literally all I got. So McDonald's, little call spread. Talked about a couple of other earnings, Robinhood. Yeah. Yeah. Lost on a trade already this morning. So, what a start. And so that's really it. So trade him tight. I expect a pretty volatile day today. I think, volatile meaning I think we're going to be kind of all over the place. And I think that's going to continue pretty much for the rest of the year. I really do believe that we're kind of going to get into a chop house here as we get closer and closer to the end of the year on these indices. So just your chin strap. And keep the faith. And see where we go. So my stop is up here. So I gave it some room. And then I'd be looking to get out. My target is going to be down here, down near these lows that we made overnight this morning around 6 o'clock. All right, so that's it. That's all I got. So pretty quick and concise one. I thought I threw out quite a few decent trades as well. And